just our attention. Absolutely love it.
Pokemon Sword and Shield, they showed Nessa, especially like Black Cosplay Twitter and stuff. Everyone was like, yo, oh my god. I kid you not, literally that night I started putting together a costume.
So a moment that really stuck out to me for E3 was in 2016, where I actually got to meet and interview Mr. Miyamoto. It was surreal, and I will never forget that moment.
Probably one of my favorite announcements that happened at E3 was for Fallout 4. And it was also one of the first times I actually got to work with Bethesda. Being able to work with my favorite video game series was just a dream come true. So that was a super hype E3 announcement for me.
They were talking about Forza Motorsport 6, and they literally lowered a Ford GT from the ceiling, and I lost my mind.
Microsoft brought out Usher. That was the time. That was when there were just random celebrities.
The E3 announcement that I got the most excited about was winning the freaking Smash Brothers tournament and getting that dang medal. That was the best announcement that ever happened to me, when they announced the winner, and it was me.
Welcome back to E3 Live from Los Angeles. Greg Miller here with my cast of gaming friends, of course, the none other than Golden Boy, Alex Miller.
Right.
Hello, how are you?
I feel like I just spoke to you.
Well, you did because you crashed the other segment, you know what I mean, and then you burned it, because we're supposed to have this bomber jacket moment where we're together and, like, our powers unite, but then you burst through the wall screaming about G4.
I'm so sorry about that.
I'm
excited, you know?
Well, that's what people are tuning in for. They like the shenanigans.
G4 is back for a few months, you know what I mean? Just get used to it, kids.
Is this the advertising gimmick they're running with? Like, hey, how long is it going to last this time?
Yeah, man, well, until Cops and Cheaters shows up, you know? Like,
well,
I'm joking.
Joey
joking.
Greco. Golden Boy, I want to talk about a developer we are all familiar with. That's Capcom. What do you want to see from them today during their E3 presentation?
All right, if we're keeping it a $1.50, okay?
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Like, we're keeping it real.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, there's nothing more real than $1.50.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
I know you know. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He knows.
I'm right there.
It would be so sick if we got a Lost Planet game.
Oh my God! Why are you dreaming so big? This is the problem with gamers. They come out and they say, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Monster Hunter Rise, Resident Evil Village. That's our presentation. He's like, I want Lost Planet.
Hear me out, Greg. All right, because if, you know, yesterday Square Enix was like, hey, we're Square Enix and we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
Right? And then they dropped Strangers of Paradise.
Sure.
You know, which was a special surprise.
Sure.
So I would like it if Capcom did one more thing. You know, that would be cool. It's not necessary for them to do it, because I think like the slate of games that they're going to talk about, like the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, I think that's fantastic.
Sure.
A lot of people are going to get hyped up about that.
Two different Ace Attorney games bundled as one, only released in Japan now.
Exactly. So that's going to be a fun release for a lot of people to just enjoy those games, and yeah, I think that's going to be pretty awesome. What about you?
Oh, for me, like I like that they called out Resident Evil. Hey, we are going to talk about Resident Evil Village. Of course, Damon just went over there. The success Resident Evil Village has had since its launch a month ago. So what does that mean today? Is it DLC? Is it story-based DLC? We haven't actually talked about Resident Evil Village, you and I. Have you beaten Resident Evil Village?
I have not played it. All I've done is watch. Streams of it.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, I've been in California for like a month, so I haven't had time to play any video games at all.
Yeah.
That said, though, I have liked what I've seen besides the hand stuff. The hand stuff really doesn't do it for me.
I understand. They have a thing about hands over there. But the story goes places.
It
ends in a very interesting place that we won't spoil here if you haven't gotten there. So my question becomes then, if it's DLC, is it continuing that saga? Are we getting a tease of what happens next? Like, where do we want to go with Resident Evil Village and double down on the success they found of it?
Do you feel like we have a pathway, though, for Resident Evil Village?
There's multiple pathways I think they could go with it, which makes it so exciting and interesting to see what they'd want to do with it and what they want to add to it and what they want to talk about today for it. And then beyond that, I know Monster Hunter Rise, obviously, is a game that has taken over. Fanbytes Imran Khan, obsessed with it, right? He's one of our friends. IG and Zach Ryan, obsessed with it. I want to see what they have up their sleeve. They had done, their own event in May already where they talked about the 3.0 update. Now we're getting about to the 3.1 update. So what else are you going to put in there? What other monsters are we going to do? And again, this is E3.
Yeah.
This is when you get to tease to the largest audience, hey, here's what's coming in the fall. Here's what's coming down the line. So it doesn't even have to be the more imminent 3.1 update. It could be anything.
Yeah, exactly. There's a great opportunity here for Monster Hunter, for Capcom, to just continue to establish the strength of the Monster Hunter brand.
Yeah.
I went to Japan, and I remember going to a few of the, the toy stores and stuff like that to pick up some figurines. I mean, and just, it was everywhere. It was such a big deal. You could tell that the culture around the game, even out here as well, and I'm glad it's really picked up steam out here because it is a fantastic franchise. So yeah, I think we're gonna get some cool little goodies with Monster Hunter for sure.
Yeah, I will put a pin in all that because Monster Hunter, I'm so excited since World to see the success Western. As somebody who used to review the Monster Hunter games on PSP, to see it now be a huge phenomenon out here, it's insane. Maybe one day we will get the Monster Hunter restaurant I went to in Japan here stateside.
Oh, that would be cool.
It's insane.
That'd be cool. Like the Gundam Cafe.
Exactly.
Well, the drinks weren't that great, but
that's when you fall apart. Jackie, what do you want to see in an American Monster Hunter restaurant?
What? I have no idea how to answer that question, so we're just going to go into the next segment. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Okay, so we all love ourselves some AAA games, but we're also putting the indie world in the spotlight today with some trailer reveals. What types of indie games do you look forward to? For me, I love when the music just hits and the animation, I just feel it in my core and my heart. It's so hard to pinpoint what it is. I just feel like I watch the trailer and it somehow just hits me right in the feels. But Damon, I know you're particularly excited about seeing all the indie games. Why does it stand out to you so much?
There's a lot of creativity in the indie game world. They're able to take sometimes they're able to take bigger risks than a AAA game that's tens of millions of dollars in the making. It's usually a smaller team. Lots of pixel art. There's just so much great pixel art happening in the world of indie games today. I grew up on pixel art, of course. The pixel art that's happening today wouldn't have been possible in the 80s and 90s. It's such a cool look. They're doing fantastic things. It's a visual style that's going to look good 100 years from today.
Michael, what about you? Why are you excited about the show?
Independent games have the ability to be telling more personal stories, and I think that's what I gravitate towards a lot. So I mentioned She Dreams Elsewhere, which is an upcoming indie game from a good friend, Davion Gooden, but I think that's a microcosm of why I gravitate towards independent games. So you mentioned music, and you can do a lot more. You have the freedom to kind of make what kind of music. You don't have to check with anyone. You don't have to check with anyone if this is the type of story you want to tell, whether it's personal, if it deals with mental health, or if it's an expression of something you're just feeling. You are, if you're making an independent game, you are your own storyteller. So you are the last. I imagine that you would be the last. You get the last say in what your game says. So, of course, not every indie game is going to hit every person, but for those games that do hit certain people, I think they can be very impactful. Because I know games such as Undertale, which is probably, I guess, the most successful indie game out there by Toby Fox, that is literally one of my favorite games of all time, and many people would probably agree with me. But there's something very, very earnest and very personal about that game, and especially that soundtrack, which Toby Fox also made, as well, is just a throwback to all the old school RPGs. So that's what I look for in independent games, and I want to see something like that again, and I hope someone out there finds something they're interested in too during the showcase.
Michael, that was an exceptional monologue. I just want to give him a round of applause. All of us were in trance. We were just keep going.
I want a game to make me cry. I've been on record on this for all of E3. Crying is dope. Crying is great. If there's a game out there that's going to make me cry, give it to me.
We're here for all the feels. Dan, but in your opinion, what makes the indie games hit?
I think it's what both Damon and Michael were saying, where you have so much raw creativity out there, but the indie game process democratizes the creative process. Fewer corporate masters to answer to. You can really sort of focus in on your vision. I think about that sort of idea of a singular creator in some cases, like Concerned Ape with Stardew Valley. That was someone who just loved playing Harvest Moon so much that he's like, I need to make my own. And he did over the course of 5 years, and it turned out great. But you get so much other stuff out there too, it really opens up genres that might get passed by a larger publisher. Things like visual novels, you get a lot of unique narratives there. Some really strange ones sometimes, like Hot to Full Boyfriend, where you get to date a bird. But that's also cool because that offers all these options to so many people out there. There's so much amazing content, especially through platforms like Steam and Itch. There's so many amazing creators out there, and some of my favorite surprises from the show so far have come during the PC Gaming Show or the Future Games Showcase, because it's not the stuff that we knew was coming, it's the stuff that I'm going to add to my wish list right away because I want to play it down the line.
You know what I also find very interesting about indie games is basically what they have to do with PR and marketing. This is so random, but one of my friends just hit me up on LinkedIn and was like, hey, do you remember me from college? I made an indie game. It's called Extra Galactica. It's actually going to be appearing today in the Indie Game Show, and it's adorable. I love it. Great 80s retro music. You're going to absolutely adore it, Damon. And pixel art. So, but he was talking to me about how they're trying to appeal to China and these different regions. So it's like, how do they find their audience? I feel like that's such a challenge.
It is a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, think of how many great-looking indie games we've seen just during this show. There are like literally hundreds of games released every day. Yeah. It is a real, discoverability is a real challenge.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so much to get to today, but first we're going to take a quick break. When we return, Verizon will get things going with a major update. Stay tuned.
I would say GTA 5, Minecraft, those games, like, they're still around because it's super open world. I mean, Minecraft, you can build anything, break anything, which is really, really cool. GTA is just like, it's just like real life, but in a game, which is cool, and you can just go up and like punch people, and that's always fun, and you can't do that in real life, or, I mean, I guess you can, but probably wouldn't be good.
篝火营地是中国领先的游戏媒体，创立于2018年，致力于为全世界的中文游戏玩家提供专业、精准、迅速的资讯情报。篝火营地立足于中国，与多家国际一流游戏媒体同行达成正式内容合作关系，源源不断地将最新鲜的游戏资讯第一时间带给全球中文游戏玩家。自成立以来，篝火营地在全网的内容浏览量已经超过5亿，服务了数百万的读者和玩家。我们的愿景是做游戏文化传播者。您可以在全球各大手机应用市场下载篝火营地 APP， 或者访问3w.gamebonfire.com 来加入游戏传播者的行列。
As a part of Play for All, GameSpot will be bringing you the latest gaming news and announcements, interviews with developers, the biggest press conferences, and lots more. Play for All is our yearly online event that combines the excitement and announcements of E3 with charity live streams the following week, with lots of special guests who are going to help us raise money for able gamers. So join us in June for E3 and Play for All on GameSpot.com, YouTube.com/GameSpot, Twitch.tv/GameSpot, and as a part of E3's official broadcast. See you then.
Welcome back to E3 live from Los Angeles, and team, we are just moments away from Verizon's presentation. Obviously, you know, with a mobile carrier, you think about mobile games, and you know, how have you seen the mobile game scene change? Because I'm a big mobile gamer, and it has evolved exponentially over the last few years.
Oh my gosh, dude. No, you want to say the last few years, I'd go even further than that. You know, Damon and I have been very clear that we're old. And so at IGN in like 2008, I remember Levi Buchanan walking around and be like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, mobile games are about to be massive, about to take over. It's so big in Japan right now, it's going to be that way here. And you jump to it now, and it is that, like, as somebody who never played mobile games, I have Apple Arcade. Right, I have the backbone controller to throw onto my phone, whether it is for a mobile game, whether it is to go play something through remote play. You're seeing games I'm already excited for, stuff like Cozy Grove, go from a mobile platform to PlayStation.
Yes,
and it's that idea of like you start playing it on a console, you're like, this is a great game. Chicory right now. You start playing it on a console, you're like, this is great, and then it's like, oh wait, I could have been playing this on my phone a long time ago.
I know, it's incredible how much mobile gaming has evolved. Mobile networks are so important as well, folks, and the wait is over. So let's go ahead and kick things over to our friends at Verizon.
Hello everyone, I'm Diego Scotti, CMO of Verizon, and it's great to be here. This is my first E3, so you might be wondering why am I here and why Verizon is here at the industry's biggest gaming conference. Well, let me tell you, this past year changed everything, including the world of gaming. The pandemic sparked a massive growth for the industry. New players came in droves, and for many, gaming took on new meaning. It was a source of comfort, a creative outlet, and a means of connection. In fact, we estimate that 5 out of 6 people in the US have played a video game at some point in the past 6 months. That is amazing. And this growth has propelled the gaming industry towards massive new creative opportunities and cutting-edge ideas. Gamers know better than anyone that cutting-edge ideas demand new technologies that can keep up. And that's where Verizon comes in. Because here's the thing, in our increasingly fast-paced, interconnected world, we need technology that can transform every aspect of gaming. Technology that is not limited to a single console or platform. What we need, it's a network. And that network is Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband. That is why we're here today, to tell you about Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband's high speed, low latency, massive capacity, and the power of mobile edge compute, or MEC. And how Verizon is powering a gaming revolution. We're going to talk about 3 gaming communities that will benefit the most. The first community is the developers who create the games. We'll see how developers can make the most graphic-rich multiplayer games ever created. And immersive gaming formats like virtual reality can come to life in whole new ways. The second community is the sports teams who play them. We will look at how players can download games in seconds, and data-intensive multiplayer games typically reserved for consoles can now be played on mobile. And third is the community of fans who engage with them. Fans can stream games on the go with no additional downloads or consoles needed. So in all these 3 areas, Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband is the innovation that makes other innovations possible. Let's take a look. Wow, the 5G gaming revolution is on. 5G ultra wideband and mobile edge compute are literally game changers for this industry. And to prove it, we'll hear from friends I'm proud to have here with us today. Dignitas, EA, Team Liquid, and Riot Games. It's an amazing group. All the games, all the programs, the hardware being announced here at E3, all of them require a powerful network. And Verizon 5G will take all of them to the next level. We're talking about capabilities that include speeds that can reach up to 4 gigabits per second, latency measured in milliseconds, the potential to support more connected devices than ever before, and smaller handsets with extended battery life. It's simply incredible. I'm so excited. To bring this to life, let's see how 5G will change everything. So amazing. I really loved that video. So now let's talk about the people who are using this technology to create the games, the developers, and how this new technology will change the way they create and publish games. So to do this, I want to introduce Nikki Palmer, Verizon's Chief Product and Development Officer. Take it away, Nikki.
Thank you so much, Diego. To get an even better understanding of how Verizon 5G is making permanent transformations within gaming, I want to tell you about something called Mobile Edge Compute, or MEC. It's a technology that's having a huge impact on those game developers that Diego mentioned. MEC involves putting compute power that would have otherwise been in the cloud or on the device itself into the edge of the network, where those capabilities are most needed for low latency performance. In 2020, Verizon became the first company in the world to launch MEC. We did that with Amazon Web Services Wavelength. So far, we've deployed MEC in this fashion with AWS in 10 major metropolitan areas across the United States. We've also announced a private MEC solution teaming with Microsoft Azure. In addition, we announced 5G and MEC co-innovation collaborations with IBM, Cisco, SAP, and Deloitte. So in short, Verizon is where the tech superstars go when they want mech done right. So, what does all this mean for developers? A lot, as it turns out. For starters, with mech and 5G ultra-wideband, processing can happen closer to the user, reducing the time required to upload or download a massive file or crunch a huge database. So, say goodbye to the days of high-def games bogging down the network. Not only that, truly immersive gaming in formats like virtual reality can be enabled, and that reduces the lag and the jitter in the experience that may have prevented the adoption of VR in the first place. This technology also provides a platform for hardware developers that can change the size and weight of a headset, untethering gamers from the clunky hardware of the past and unlocking the huge gaming potential of virtual reality. With augmented reality games also on the rise, there are even more implications for game developers, especially the ones who are so creative that the current platforms can't keep up. Until now. The platforms are here. Thanks to 5G ultra-wideband, even the most visually complex cloud-based games can come through beautifully on any user device, just as their creators intended. Developers can now focus on making the best games. They can rewrite the rules for creating eye-popping, graphics-rich, multiplayer action without worrying about hardware or network limitations. So, now that we've lifted the creative limitations for developers, I want to shift gears to talk about the second community being impacted by the power of 5G, and that's esports teams. Esports has been one of the fastest growing entertainment categories in the world. With access to Verizon 5G ultra-wideband and mobile edge compute, new games can be played with higher fidelity and lower latency, creating new opportunities for esports leagues, especially mobile esports. Our 5G labs have been the perfect place for esports innovation. These 5G and mech-enabled environments are cutting-edge incubators for forward-thinking companies that are ready to build and scale the future of gaming. In early 2020, Verizon's 5G lab right here in LA became home to the Verizon 5G Gaming Center. This first of its kind.
It's perfect. Get ready for ad in 3, 2, 1.
something that has never been done before. With that powerful connection, can you unlock second screen experiences that immerse fans in the competition and that allows top content creators to stream live from those venues. And for those watching remotely, VR innovations will allow fans to experience live events together virtually, giving them the best seats in the house. And 360-degree access that puts them in the middle of the action. I can't wait to see what comes from our Team Liquid 5G innovation partnership. Now, Verizon's expansive collection of gaming industry partners is capable of reaching over 120 million of those players. And that's in the US alone. We want to show every one of them how Verizon's networks will benefit both players and developers in totally new ways. A great example of this was our partnership with Epic to create the Super Bowl 5G stadium in Fortnite Creative Mode. This was the largest branded experience ever built in Fortnite's Creative Mode. And it gave players the opportunity to interact with their favorite NFL players and pro players in a way that's never been done before. The activation featured 4 football-inspired games and a few hidden surprises for players. It was a great demonstration of the power of 5G for gaming with the low lag and high speeds made only possible by Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband. But 5G doesn't just transform battle royale games like Fortnite. It also changes single-player and strategy games. I am thrilled now to invite a friend of mine to talk about how Verizon 5G is amping up the player experience. He is safety for the LA Chargers and a seriously engaged model NFL player, Derwin James. My man.
What's up, my man?
So great to have you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for coming. You all know this, and your home field is the new SoFi Stadium, which is amazing.
Yes,
It was created with the most cutting-edge technology in existence, and I tell you, it is home to Verizon's largest 5G stadium built in the country, built with 5G at its core, so ultra-wideband coverage can be found throughout the entire stadium.
I can't wait to get the fans back out there into the stadium for many reasons. The venue is incredible. The tech is built around is going to totally reshape how we watch and play with the game.
It's very, very, very cool. And listen, we can talk about these tech enhancements for a long, long time, but you're here today because you're not only a competitor on the field,
Yes, sir.
but you're also a passionate gamer, right?
Yes, sir.
A huge modern NFL fan.
I am. I started playing football when I was about 4 years old and Madden NFL when I was 7 years old. So you can say I've always been a competitor. I always wanted to be a professional football player. When I played Madden NFL, as a kid, I created my player. I wanted to have super speed, super size, and of course, handsome. So, to be able to be the player I am, it showed a lot of dedication.
That's so cool, and you achieved all of that. I don't know about the handsome one, but anyway, it's a great story. And I'm sure you've seen tons of changes in the game since you started playing, both on the field and also on the screen, right?
You could say that. The innovations around Madden NFL and the gaming overall are incredible. The tech advancements have enabled so much. When I started playing, there were maybe the color cords with the images were blurry, the networks were kind of slow, so you're constantly getting a lag. It's so different now. The visuals are more realistic, networks have gotten better, and you can play with a group of people all over the state or city. You can be playing with a friend in a whole nother country, which is amazing.
Oh my God, it's amazing, and you can't believe what 2 decades of innovation can do to the game. So, as you think about the future, what do you want to see next?
Madden NFL is already delivering a lot, but I'd love to see more new modes and experience with deeper and authenticity and to what it's like to be on the field. I want to feel like I'm in this moment as a player. I want to feel like I'm out there. So more engagement with opportunities to connect with people and other people across the world. So being able to be mobile, because I'm constantly on the go as an athlete, so I want to be able to connect with my friends mobilely too.
Oh, that's really cool. And listen, I'm glad that you mentioned mobile because we believe at Verizon that mobile is the future.
Yes, sir.
We ended the year, and I'm going to hear this number, with 17,000 5G small cells all across the country. And we expect to have, by the end of the year, 30,000, so everybody can enjoy 5G. So I tell you, this kind of expansion means that the powerful connection you need for console quality gaming experience on mobile, like the one you want, will continue to grow very quickly. And here's one other thing. We are taking it also to the next level because we are combining this power of the Verizon network with the creativity of the developers of EA. Their team will work with our 5G labs to innovate using 5G to focus on creating the most dynamic player experience ever. So together, our goal will be to produce optimizations for EA Sports, including your favorite Madden NFL Mobile, using low latency to develop mobile experiences, the kind of the ones that Durring, you, my man, and so many others are craving.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's literally changing the game. Seeing the networks and improvements created over the last 20 years, I can't wait to see what the next 20 years bring with the power enhancing of 5G power.
That is it.